what does a day in your life look like, or what is your morning routine, routine?
Yep.
Because you seem to squeeze so much
I
in.
squeeze a lot in on the weekdays. I wake up at 5:30 in the morning. I go make coffee in a Keurig machine because I live in a basement right now because I'm renovating a house. Then I walk over to my electric piano and I put on my headphones and I play jazz piano for an hour. And I
For an hour.
for an hour between 5:30 and 6:30.
So you're really every morning?
For stints, I'll have other stints when I'm traveling and stuff that it just goes out the window.
Yeah.
But when I'm in a stint of home, yeah, for an hour I play jazz piano
Okay.
and I practice, and and then at 6:40, the boys wake up and I shower the boys. I mean, Iz is up and we're showering the boys. We're getting them dressed. We're chatting with them. We have this like moment. The boys waking up in the morning to me is like a core moment. It's like,
Yeah.
this is a moment we're going to all remember.
And
These mornings.
Children also, when they wake up, are so
They're just punchy and silly and weird and funny.
So fresh.
And they're fresh and they're snuggly. And it's like, that's a beautiful, like,
yeah.
moment.
You know,
a
it's funny.
beautiful
I
moment.
remember feeling that. I remember
Oh, good. I
waking
love
up
hearing that.
and just being like, oh, the day's ahead of me. You
Yeah,
know, like, and the
yeah.
world would be so much
Yeah.
simpler.
Yes.
So I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think those are crucial moments. And so we have our moment. The boys then go up to their nanny. Izzy and I go to the gym. We move our bodies because we will be sad if we don't move our bodies. I run on a treadmill. I lift weights. I do this thing.
So running, weights.
Yep,
Do you
running
follow
weights.
a particular plan?
Yeah, I have a little plan that some coach taught me. And then I have this Copilot. Copilot like sponsored me, so like they gave me free to their app.
Cool.
And so I have like a personal like coach there who like helps me with like this core stabilization lower back thing. So I do like a 30-minute thing. Like
Okay.
we're 30 minutes at the gym.
From 7 to 7:30.
Yeah, we actually get to the gym always at 7:20.
Okay.
By
This is down to the minute.
By 8, we have to be out. If it's a Monday, we go to the grocery store and we shop for this studio, which is a major value of mine.
Every Monday?
Every Monday, Iz and I go to Whole Foods and we shop for the studio because there is nothing I value more in this life than quality food.
Yeah.
Quality products
Yes.
is one of the greatest things in the world. And Izzy and I would always say when we were scraping by on like
Yeah.
black beans and rice in college, when we have the means,
Yeah.
the thing that we will spare no expense on is food.
Yes.
Smoked salmon and the nice avocados and the expensive yogurt and the nice fresh bread. We will just spare no expense, which in the United States is a difficult thing to do.
It's a difficult thing to do, yeah, and it's so expensive here. It's
so
crazy.
expensive. And luckily it's a business expense because it's the studio. So we
Yeah.
go to the studio. So we get here. We are here by 8:45. And then at 9, my block starts. My sacred block. I have a sacred freaking block. And it is from 9 to 1. 9 to 1 is where everything happens. Everything that matters in my work happens between 9 and 1. Sometimes 9 and 2 if I'm lucky. But 9 and 1. And I psych myself out and I get ready and I hop around and I make a coffee and I like get a little smorgasbord of like smoked salmon and blah, 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 and like walnuts and all this stuff. And I go to my desk, I put my headphones on, I find my Spotify, I'm like, what's it going to be today? And I have like all kinds of music I listen to. And my block, it's a writing block usually. And a writing block, and it used to be like an animation and editing block. I don't edit and animate anymore.
Yeah.
Sad face. But it's a writing block. So I sit down, I get into a script, and I'm writing mapping Antarctica today. And I vibe, and I get serious, and I'm excited, and I start writing, and I start visualizing. And then I have a moment, and I turn behind me, and Tom Fox is there, sitting, chilling. And I go, Tom, what if we did this thing where at the beginning it was like these chords, and I go over to his desk and I like put the chords down and he's like, oh, this is sick. And I'm like, okay, keep going with that. And I go back and I keep writing. And then he starts freaking doing
That's
his thing.
great.
And it is just this jam. It's flow. It's like really cultivated, sacred flow. And it has an ending point. And I think that's really vital. Maybe not for some people. For me, the fact that it ends.
No. I don't think you can sustain flow.
It has to have this sort of ending point, which is like, for me, it's 1 p.m. and or 2. And then at 2, I've sort of lost my energy. I stop all caffeine at noon, and I then move into like meetings, which are my least favorite thing in the world because I'm highly attention, like I'm fidgety and like sitting down for a meeting, like a conversation like this, I'm buzzing, but like a meeting where we're talking to a lawyer about something,
Yeah.
is my nightmare. So
And,
luckily,
and we're not made to look at screens. I don't feel like I'm with the person.
interesting.
Like I love my parents, for example, the
Yeah,
pieces. I
yeah.
love talking to them. I don't like talking to them on a
On the
phone. It's just
screen,
I get
that emotional
antsy.
resonance. Interesting. For me, it's more just the lack of like, I don't know. I don't know. Even this is even in person meetings for me. So I go through meetings, I watch cuts.
Yeah.
All of this works, and this is so important because my partner has created a legitimate organization
Yeah.
of 12 full-time employees, a network of like 20 contractors that all somehow get paid on time, get benefits, have all their information, have everything documented, all communicate with each other, all come to the meetings. I don't know how it works. I do not know how I used to know how it worked when we were doing like a video or two a month
Mm-hmm.
because I would touch it all. I now have no idea what's under the hood.
That's crazy.
And yet and our production manager, Taryn, just have the whole thing dialed in where we can do these 30-minute ambitious deep dive videos and they publish once a week, and they actually publish 1 week early on Nebula. So we actually have to be way more than like a week ahead
Wow.
on every video, every thumbnail, every title, all worked out,
That's crazy.
designed.
You guys have it down to a science.
It's really dialed in, and what it allows us to do is empower more people to step up into the business and touch the product, so it's not just all on me.
Yeah.
And that's what I was telling you earlier. We were talking about. I was like, this is the busiest time ever, but my lower back isn't like kinked out, and like I'm not like stressed because this organization is like this giant support machine that's like I'm a part of instead of like I'm carrying. I'm not carrying anything anymore other than like my tasks. My tasks are important. I have to write these things. I have to direct these things. But an organization goes a really long way for taking it off my shoulders and making it work. And that is the masterpiece of my wife. Like that is the unsung part of this whole thing that like it is sung in the comments of every video. It's how on earth do you do this every week? And it's like, why are you looking at me? You know? And I feel conflicted.
Well, because it is your face.
It's my face. I know. But like it's this when I see that I'm like
It's unfair.
I wish I could just shout to the rooftops like there's someone whose masterpiece this is, you know.
Is a mastermind.
She really is. And she has been since day one. She like hired her first employee when she had like 5,000 subscribers and I had like 100,000 and I was like, I don't even have an employee. What are you doing? And she's like, I need an employee. And what I was learning is that
It's incredible.
She could see the future.
Wow, you guys are a great duo. Is that time block one single task from 9 to 1?
Yes.
Is it one thing?
It has to be. And when I walk into this door, I literally will be mumbling under my breath like it's like a funny thing that they make fun of me in the studio for. Bosnia is the only video that matters. Bosnia is the only video that I'm making. There's only one video. There's only one video that we are ever making ever on our channel, and it is Bosnia. Like I have to do this thing where I put the blinders on to be like Bosnia. It's the only thing that matters. It's this map explainer. It's going to be great. And I get to my desk and it's the only thing that matters. And if somebody comes everyone knows this now, but like if somebody comes and is like, hey, so what's the deal with the lottery video? I'm like, like, don't like, I can't,
Wow.
this is the only thing that matters. It's like hyper fixated focus on that. And it's cultivated. It's cultivated from the night before. I look at my calendar the night before and I'm like, Bosnia, tomorrow 9 a.m. Yeah. See you there.
You know what you look like? I've seen you before you're in there. You look like a boxer.
Yes.
Hyping yourself up to go into the ring.
Yes. That's what it feels like, dude. I was lucky to have this forced upon me when I was 24 and I had a kid and I was still in college. I don't know a professional career outside of having a child at home.
Mm-hmm.
And as a dad who wants to be extremely present and extremely there, I have a zero tolerance policy for like working late. I don't work late. I have a nanny who is done at 4:30 and and I at 4:15 we leave this office. There's no negotiating. There's no like, can you stay late? We go home. What that means is that from between the hours of 8:30 and 4:30, we are, talk to anyone on the team. We are machines. We are robots. Every second is accounted for. Not literally every second. Every minute is literally accounted for.
And it's so weird because I think I would have judged you so hard for that.
Yeah.
just that piece because I would be like, ugh,
Yeah,
I
it's
hate human
so
opera like that.
yeah.
But I know the bigger picture, and I see it's like you saw the bigger picture, and you're
Yes.
like, these are
Well, I was
the
forced to. Like I didn't do this. I didn't design this. This was holy shit. I got to get it all done.
yeah
It happens to be that during that compression, my brain sparks in ways that magic comes out. That urgency gets me going, and I just grind, and then I'm off. And then so the habit of being able to be off is because for 10 years at 4:30, really it used to be 5:30. We switched it back to 4:30 about 3 years ago. At 4:30, I am off, and I have no choice because I'm home, and I've just learned to be off. And then the next morning I do it again. Now that works for a time, but it can only be a robot for so long before it starts to take a toll. And that is
right.
when I've learned about this like season of rest thing, where it's like I can only be the robot for so long before I need to let my body and my mind like. And I used to call it detox. I don't think of it like that anymore. I think I need to switch back. I need to nourish the other side of myself. I don't
Yeah.
need to detox. This isn't bad. This is good. This is amazing that I have this skill. I'm gonna go nourish this other side of myself.
Right, right. Instead of looking
Practice.
at it as toxic
Yeah, it's not toxic. I don't
toxins.
need to detox. I need to just go nourish this other thing. And how do you develop that? Well, I was forced into it kind of, but also practice.
Yeah.
You have to practice doing that switch, and that
Yeah.
switching, it's uncomfortable because you're
Yeah.
switching your neurology, dude. Like your tracks are changing. You're in a different space. Your neurology,
Yeah.
your canals are different when you're in this headspace than that headspace. Learning to do that switch is like learning to play piano. You just have to practice.
Yeah. Wow. This is really fascinating. And I mean, it is the Johnny effect. Like
Johnny effect.
it's you make it happen. You
Yep.
make it work. Like I gotta say, I don't think I can think of anyone that I would have more faith in when faced with a project than you to just make it work. You will make it happen.
Well,
So I think I don't know if it's just you. I don't want it to be
it's
that.
not just me.
But I think I take a lot of inspiration, but I do think people are wired differently, you know?
Yeah, I again, the origin story of how it all went down is hard for me. We've sort of traced back the how it all went down, whether it was Mormonism or pre-wiring or whatever, and I don't know that
There's a
origin
lot of
story.
potential theories.
Yeah,
I mean, I
there's-
even had the thought that, like, when you were saying you were a 19-year-old Mormon missionary, I was like, oh, that's so interesting. Maybe it was the fact that he couldn't pursue women, right?
Yeah.
Like all the theories, right? That he couldn't pursue women, so it wasn't a distracting. So he could kind of focus on this work of converting
Yes.
people.
And maybe you want to know the real theory that I actually think explains a lot of successful people's endurance is they're trying to prove something.
Right.
I think in therapy in recent years, I've learned that a lot of my motivation comes from the satisfaction of proving wrong all of my peers in 5th grade. And it's like, here I am, this like 34-year-old man who's like, the young wounded part of me needs validation because he felt like an idiot as a 5th grader.
Right.
Because he had to meet with the teacher after school and go over special learning goals. And that was so shameful. But here I am, this big, like, powerful, rich dude who's like gonna flex on the world. Like, I think a lot of people grind to just say fuck you to the world that made them feel small. Like, I really think that that's true. And I know for me, absolutely, that is a part of the theory that we didn't really go into. But like, that vindication is so incredibly powerful. And if you don't heal that part of yourself,
Yeah.
those patterns will repeat themselves for your entire life.